What's good, leaders? Welcome back to another episode of Newer Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Kyrie Green, and today we have another very special guest with us. A good friend of mine, like a brother actually. We've been friends for majority of which I met him in high school. And it's crazy how we met. We met through debating. And then since then, like he been like a brother to me. I called him. He was like, "Yo, I see the podcast. We gotta come on. I gotta come on. We gotta sit down and talk." So today, I'm gonna let him introduce, himself to y'all. Thank you for taking your time out to come talk with me today, bro.
No problem.
Appreciate
Very honored to be here. Feels like
it.
a feels like some very good treatment. No, I'm playing. My name is Hayes Mccrea. I am a second year art and design major at Harcum College. I study fashion design, arts, and illustration. And that's pretty much what I do.
So how you been, bro? How is college treating you?
It's good. It's definitely a different experience living on my own and like in school, and then like transitioning back to living at like my like normal home.
Mm.
It's humbling. It is challenging, I will say, but it's definitely a good teaching moment for me.
Mm.
It's definitely what I needed in my life.
So like in high school, did you see college like the college life, how people would, explain it to you, like, yeah, like it's challenging, difficult. Now that you're there and you're living, this experience, do you see that it's still the same?
Um, Not really, because I feel like people make things more bigger than what they actually are. Like I know people who told me college would be so hard, it's gonna be stressful, it's gonna be annoying. Yeah, that plays, it's factors that play into those roles. However, like it's like college is as fun as you make it, right? Like the first semester, it wasn't rough for me. I had a tough time making friends, I wasn't really talking to people. I wasn't really sure who I can trust. But then I just started to ease on myself and just started to give myself time. Just started to relax a little bit, and then after that, it just became a breeze.
Okay. So you mentioned, you studying fashion design and things like that. What got you into that? Like
You. Well, I mean, honest, you and honestly, the real reason I don't really tell nobody, I'm not good at like expressing myself, so I do that through clothes. I used to have a brand, most people know, Motion Club, but I kind of fell away from that because it wasn't really like, it was doing great, it was selling, people loved it. I was making good quality things, just like everybody would say. However, I wasn't really in love with it, so I started sewing more when I got into college, and I fell in love with that more. It's like just like being able to put something through a machine, being able to design it however you want, not get a logo, slap it on there. Like
Mm.
just being able to like get the raw material, shape it out, cut it, add whatever you want to it. Doing that is more connecting to the fashion world, and it's to me, I think it's more connecting to me.
So it allows you, fully express yourself, and you're able to, really get into the details how you want. And it's
Exactly.
coming from you.
Yep.
Um so, with you being in college, you participated in one of their fashion shows. I wasn't able to make it.
So
Cause
shocker.
I was in Atlanta for Atlanta Streetwear
Right.
Market at
Yeah.
that time. I left the day of, the event. But I saw the pieces. The pieces was fire.
Thank
Like
you.
all of the pieces that you made was fire, bro. And I know
Thank
you,
you.
we talked before the event. You put a lot of time, hard work, some sleepless nights,
Yeah.
some nights you barely got sleep to make sure that, you had everything that you needed and you were able to, deliver the message that you wanted to deliver, through those pieces. So I want to
Yeah.
congratulate you on, the completion of that,
Thank you.
and sticking it through. Now, how did you feel during that time period? Like, were you nervous?
Um, there's always nerves that play into it. Um, I feel like that's just a sign that like you care about something, like whatever you're nervous about, like no matter what it is. Like if you have like even the most little of nerves, I mean like if you care about it, it means you put time and effort into it. So I feel like yeah, I was nervous. I wasn't like shaking or sweaty or like just
Mm,
like I wasn't like terrified, nervous. I was like nervous in a good way because I know I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I know that it paid off. That's what I manifested.
mm. Okay. Now, growing up, did you always see yourself doing something like this, or were the dreams that you had for yourself, did they change? Like, did something maybe shift your mindset into like, all right, yeah, this is now what I want to do?
Um, I never wanted to do fashion growing up. I never was even like a get dressed type person growing up. Like I always made sure I was dressed properly,
Mm,
but I never really cared for what I wore. Up until I got into high school. So like once I started exploring more, once I started like getting outside more and exploring the world, that's when I'm like, okay, like clothes, like clothes, they mean a lot and they matter.
mm,
So I think that's really like that's the point that like really like made me be like, okay, this is what I want to do in my life.
okay. So exploring is what it expanded your horizon of how shaped your perspective on a lot of things, how you saw things.
Yep.
Um, now talk about interesting experience that you've had so far with creating your own, like with the shift from dealing with overseas manufacturers and shifting to creating your own pieces, through a sewing, sewing the clothes.
Well, one thing's for sure, I can do everything on my own time, like sewing, rather than waiting for a manufacturer. Like having to find one, like the process of finding one like that meets all of your requirements. You want good quality, great
Yeah.
turnaround times being like how fast it takes to get to you. Um, you want great prices. You want someone who doesn't scam you. Like my first order, I got scammed. Like God bless, I was able to refund it, but
Yeah.
it was a sample order. I went to this manufacturer in China via phone, and I sent the money over. They kept saying 1 more week, 1 more week. It don't take 5 weeks to make one hoodie.
Mm,
So um, that's one of the downsides I would say. However, building a good relationship with your manufacturer does make it a lot easier.
mm-hmm.
Like having conversations with them. Like because they're humans too, and they just want somebody to
Yeah.
talk to. They don't want somebody to just send money, get their stuff over. Even though they're about their money, they still want to be like they still want to have conversations with the person that is buying stuff from them, buying
Yeah.
materials and everything. But as far as like doing everything on my own, like sewing, I can do it on my own. I can do it however I want to do it. I don't have to listen to nobody. I don't have to worry about pricing because sewing is actually a lot cheaper than it
Mm,
is like going out and getting like the fabric. You may not find as good fabric, but
mm-hmm.
like you can make everything work. That's the beauty of sewing. Like you could find 5 pieces of some dirt cheap garbage fabric, make it look like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Whereas you get some of the best fabric in China or Pakistan or wherever, and the manufacturer make it, it may not come out to how you want it.
Mm-hmm. Um, Now you mentioned, you got scammed your first order when you started the brand and things like that. What's some ways that, other brand owners who, people who currently have a brand or future brand owners can avoid this happening? Like, what are like some red flags that may raise, leading up to that?
Red flags. One thing, if a manufacturer texts you first on your page, don't fall for it. There are some out there that are good. Some trying to get their name out. Like if your brand is doing well and they text you, okay. But if you're just starting off and you see a bunch of texts, do not fall for it. That's one thing I learned.
Mm,
Like you will get not even scammed. You will get like some poor quality clothes and it will leave you mad. Just like it
mm,
left me mad. Another thing, when you go on Alibaba or wherever you go, make sure that it's verified. One thing that you did actually,
mm-hmm.
you actually see their ID. You schedule a call with them,
Yeah.
actually see their ID. I didn't even know that was legal at first, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, like have a chat with them. Ask like when I first had my manufacturer, one of my one of the manufacturers that I have now. I scheduled a call with them while I was on my way to school one morning, and
Mm,
I was like, "Hey, like, can I see your warehouse and everything?" They showed me everything they made, showed me stuff they was working on,
mm,
show like people actually doing the work. So I'm like, okay, they can be trusted. Like
mm,
not 100%, but at least I know I can put some trust into them.
yeah. Um. So our senior year for I believe it was community service, or it was was it our senior or junior year where we went out and we linked up with
Think
on
that was
Dan.
June, senior. I think it was junior year,
So our junior year for communities,
senior year.
junior or senior year, one of them I can't remember. But we had a chance to, for community service, we had a chance to go, you know, learn from a fashion designer, someone who, designs gowns, and a lot more. He does a lot of great things.
Yeah,
The creator of RM67,
yep.
Uncle Dame as we call him. That experience, going into it, I ain't gonna lie, he funny as hell.
He is
The
funny.
whole our whole first day was cracking up. Um, but if I'm being honest, from those 3 to 4 days that we spent with him, and the talks that we had, ever since then, I saw you make a shift. Like I saw a slight shift in your mindset, and I kind of saw you, staring away from more so like the brand and getting more into like, all right, now I know, like you felt like you wanted to really get into like, all right, sewing. After that, like, is this something during that experience that, maybe something he said or a talk that we had that shifted, how you looked at everything as far as like in the fashion world?
Um, I wouldn't say nothing he said. It was just like the stuff that he made. Like he was very creative with it,
Mm-hmm.
and like I feel like when you get to make your own clothes from scratch, cutting it out, pattern drafting it, shaping it, sewing it, whatever, and you can add whatever you want to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you fall in love more with that because it feels more like your creation. When you're just getting the stuff slapped on a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever, like it's your creation because you made it, but it's not really coming from the heart, like it's not. Well, it's yours, but in my opinion, it's not 100% yours because someone else made it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I was to make this shirt, for example, if I would to like take everything apart, add some stuff to it, then like put this logo on there or whatever, then okay, like I will feel like I made this. But if I
Mm-hmm.
got this white shirt, sent it overseas and just had this put on there, then it doesn't really feel like mine because I didn't make the shirt. And now like I want to add something to it. Let's say I add some diamonds on the sleeve or whatever, add like anything, like it wouldn't feel like mine because someone already put their hands on it.
Yeah. And from that experience, we were able to, create a great relationship with Uncle Dame. And even till this day, we're still in contact. And we also, I'm not going to mention too much about it, but we were working on something.
Yeah,
Um, and recently, through that, you were able to, become, his apprentice.
yeah.
For a few months. How did that go?
It went well. It could have went better, honestly. There were some things, mental issues I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was only 8 weeks long. I believe I did the full 8 weeks, or I missed a week. It was times where he went on tour with other artists. We couldn't be there for a week or whatever. Times where I got busy, caught up. But the experience, it was a great experience. He looked out for me. Shout out to him. He gave me a bunch of good advice. He taught me a lot of things when it comes to making dresses, like how to put diamonds on a dress, how to put corsets on, how to sew like a long corset, how to cut out dresses, most
Mm-hmm.
importantly. And seeing him work, countless hours overnight, like I think that's one of the biggest things.
Mm-hmm.
Not what he told me, but just watching him like constantly work countless hours. Like I would go there on the weekends. I would go there from like 10, and I tell him like I'm there until you kick me out. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be from 10 to 8 p.m. I'm just here. If you need me, like I'll be there. I'm watching him, learning from him, and then when I leave, he spends overnight actually sewing the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what like really like I really learned from him is like countless hours and a lot of hard work is gonna get you far.
Yeah, definitely. He spends a lot of time and he puts a lot of time, thought, and effort into creating these beautiful pieces, especially during like his busiest season, prime season.
Yeah.
He's super busy, booked up from, when we first met him, we walked into, his establishment and he showed us just like the list of gowns that he had to make. And just like, visits, people who are coming out, prep to get their gowns made. The list was packed. Like
Yeah.
it was a ton of people on there. Um, Now you talked about, you know, you were facing, some tough things, during that time of that apprenticeship. When you reach hardship, how do you navigate through those moments?
Um, so most people say like work through it. I'm one to say I do not believe in working through it at all because mental health is very important. This is something that, you know, I feel like it's something that black people don't realize enough, like especially black youth.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize that mental health is really important. Like, like when I go through things, like no matter what I'm doing, like during the fashion show, like during the season of the fashion show, I lost my grandma. Rest in peace to her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I talked to my professors. They said like, don't even bother going. Like, we're working through it. Take your time, grieve, do whatever you need to do because working through things, it will like you may succeed in it, but at the same time, you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to be 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you need to take a time off, you need to take time off to yourself. Like go out, get some fresh air. Enjoy yourself. Like I feel like we don't really, and we don't talk about our problems enough. Like
Yeah.
talking about my problems, whether it's you to you, my professors, my mom, or whatever. Like that comes a long way. Like we're always taught that like suck it up, be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't cry. Like like it's okay to do those things. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to express your feelings because if we don't have feelings, like what's the point of living?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy because growing up, a lot of us are taught, especially like young African American men, we're taught, basically showing your emotions is a sign of like weakness or
Yeah,
something that's like a female trait. And it's something that as I got older and I started to hear it more, I questioned it because as coming from the places that we come from, we deal with a lot.
a lot.
Like
Yeah,
we deal with a lot of trauma and things that can strike some type of emotion.
yeah,
And as humans, we all have emotion, no matter the gender, race, ethnicity, whatever. We all have emotions. And with us growing up and we're taught to basically suppress our emotions or not show no emotion, it's like we grow up to be these angry people, or like
hmm,
we don't know how to express ourselves, so we tend to turn to the wrong things as a way to express our feelings. Or we get in spaces and it's like you're you're perceived as a grown man now, and you don't know how to do something like advocate for yourself,
right.
or say like I'm not okay. Like I feel like that's something that a lot of us aren't like, we don't know how to say like I'm not okay.
Yeah, and you're right about that 100%. I agree. I believe that it comes like from like generation to generation, because like
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do, we're taught. That's why I believe in like whatever we do, we're taught. It doesn't matter if it's selling drugs, like violence or whatever. We're taught by somebody, you know. I feel like we were never taught as sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, grandparents to express our feelings,
Mm-hmm.
which is why we can grow up to be like you said, like these angry people, and we grow up to be like people who don't talk about our feelings. And I feel like that's what's ruining us, and that's what's causing like I'll be honest, like that's what's causing like a lot of teens our age to do things that normally like it never happened. Like you don't see like you never used to see 13, 14 years out here walking around, bottles of liquor in their hand, vapes in their hand, guns in their hand, like
Yeah.
but as time went on, as things started to change, as people started to become more sad and not be able to express their feelings, they've allowed themselves to cope through more negative ways, such as like taking it out on other people,
Yeah.
like destroying their own bodies with drugs and alcohol usage. Um and so yeah, I feel like, like I started therapy recently. It's been
Mm,
helping out. It's been helping me out a lot. You know, like just being around people who've been able to tell me like, yo, like if you need something, like if you're going through something, talk to me, let it out. You know, like even talking to yourself helps too. You know.
yeah, it's crazy. I never really like in our community. Therapy is something that a lot of us don't believe in.
Yeah.
And I could say I've actually had a chance to experience therapy after the loss of my brother. I went to therapy and that experience was different for me because when I walked into the office, my therapist, she had like my file, like my file, like on a piece of paper, like on a
Yep.
paper in her hand, and she was, she's like, yeah, how you doing? Your name is, Kair, right? I'm like, yeah, that's my name. Um, and she was like, I can see here. I want you to know, like, I can see here, what you're here for, but I want you to explain, like, do your best to explain it to me. And she said, like, gave a little disclaimer. She said, like, during this time, if you need to, cry, you feel like, you're reaching to a point you can't really talk, feel free to communicate it. But she was like, if you need to cry, go ahead. You can sit here this whole time and
Mm,
cry. You don't have to say a word. Um, and honestly, I didn't feel like talking about it would really do anything. So for the first like 3 sessions, I just sat there and we didn't say anything.
right.
And about the fourth session, I started to open up, and I was able to talk about that and a few other things that put me in the mindset that I was in around that time. Um, and if I'm being honest, that even with the things that she said to me to this day, it still sticks with me.
Hmm.
Like she talked about emotions, right? And I never forget it. She had this emotion wheel in her office, right? And it has like a ton of emotions. It has like the broad emotions like sad, mad,
Yep.
angry, happy, frustrated, like stuff like that. And then it was like a branch of all of these like direct emotions.
Yep.
And she would like to have me, like, when I walked in as well, she would, like, ask me how I feel. And she always said, like, all right, if you say, you know I'm sad, she didn't want that to be the answer. So if I was to say, like, I'm sad, she wanted me to go up to the wheel and point out like the direct emotion and not just something broad as sad,
Yeah.
like, or if I'm like I'm mad, like I'm frustrated, overwhelmed, things like that. And just those practices and things that she told me to do when I was feeling certain emotions, it helped me navigate through times where I was feeling these emotions and didn't really know what to do, or like just keep up with my mental health, because mental health is a big thing, and it's something that a lot of us don't really we ignore. um and it's something that we need to really really like acknowledge.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot in our community, um people feel like at a certain age you shouldn't really feel anything.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it becomes a thing where it's like, all right, there's no reason at this age you should feel these emotions, like, because you don't have any responsibility. I don't feel like that's something that, like, I don't feel like that's the correct way to go about things when it comes down to either teaching a child, or like somebody that if you're a guardian to somebody, because even though they may not have the adult like responsibility,
Hmm.
they still are human and have emotions that every other human has.
Yeah.
you know Going to school for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for some they may have work and things like that. Yeah, you might not pay a bill or have to take care of someone else. Just those things can be overwhelming, frustrating. You may need, like, a mental health day. It may start to take a toll on you after some time, especially like a repetitive cycle.
Yeah.
So I feel like just as a community, as a culture, we should start like really prioritizing mental health, especially at these younger ages.
Yeah.
Now I want to do something with you. It's something called Leaders Toolkit, right?
Okay.
So with this, I want you to give the leaders three things that you feel like they need in their toolkit.
Okay.
It can be a characteristic, a book to read, a mentor, a YouTube video. There's three important things you feel like they'll need in their toolkit.
Okay. So I'll start with the characteristics since you said that first. Kindness. I was always taught this when I was younger. And people always say this to me. Being kind goes a long way. If you put good out into the world, I bet my life. I bet everything I own. I don't own much, but I bet everything I own. It will come back to you. Like anytime someone's with me, if I see someone struggling, if I got change to spare, take it. Anytime I see someone struggling with carrying something, I got this for you. Like no matter, it could be the smallest thing as little as holding the door for somebody or saying thank you, or even
Mm-hmm.
giving out a compliment. No matter what you do in life, if you have a brand, if you want to be like, if you play sports, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a judge, an officer, no matter what it is, kindness goes a long way. Like that's it. Like being kind to others, it will bring kindness. Like it will come back to a full circle.
I definitely agree with
Like
that.
the second thing, I believe, and this may be controversial, but no matter like who it is, like serve a higher power. Like because serving a higher power gives you like laws to follow. Like you're Muslim, I'm Christian. We believe in two different things.
Mm-hmm.
However, we both follow a bunch of laws that help shape us to be great human beings, and
Mm-hmm.
they like those laws help us like not follow things that are in the world that are bad and that can destroy us. Like
Mm-hmm.
those, like everything is there for a reason. Like no matter what you believe in,
Definitely.
like no matter what book you read or whatever, like there are laws in there tells you, hey, follow this, do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you will be straight. Like um, and the third thing I believe is confidence. Like no one wants, like if you don't have confidence, this is something that I deal with. I'm getting better with my confidence, but about 1 2 years ago, I was the most least confident person in the world, and I can say that with confidence. So if you don't have confidence, no matter what you do, like if I want to sell something to you,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to come up and be like, "Hey, I got this shirt. You want to buy it?" No, I want to walk up to you, put my foot down. Hey, yo, I got this shirt. I think you should buy it. I think it will look great on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm in a fashion show or whatever, like no matter what I'm doing, if I'm playing sports or whatever, I want to go out there and look my best. I want to look presentable. I want to look confident. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. One thing, there's one quote that I will share with you guys that I recently heard: "Walk inside a door as if God sent you in there."
Mm-hmm.
Like God sent you in there. Yo, walk in, take over the game. Walk in, take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, go in there like I sent you in there.
Okay.
And that's what stuck with me. So whenever I do things, like I got that mindset, like yo, like I'm the best at this. You ain't doing better than me. You're not doing better than me, and you are 100% not doing better than me. I'm better than all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I came to kill all of y'all.
Metaphorically.
Metaphorically, yes.
Metaphorically.
Definitely metaphorically. I came to kill the game metaphorically.
Now I want to get into some of the things that you've created. Uh for those who know, you created a lot of pieces since you started designing on your own.
Okay.
One of my favorite is the bags that you've made out of recycled jeans.
I should have. They're in my car. I should have
You
brought them
should
too.
you should have bought it. You should have bought it so they can see it.
Yeah.
Those bags, they're super unique. For some they might look at it like, what is that? But for me, I feel like it's different because it's like as you said, you can express yourself, and I look at everything as an art.
Yeah.
And something like that, to take a pair of recycled, denim, maybe it's from a thrift store, something that's, an old pair of jeans somebody doesn't wear, and to turn it into like, a fashion statement
Yeah.
actually. That's unique. And that takes a lot of art. Now, from all of the pieces that you've made, what was your favorite? Like during the process of, creating it, putting it together, sewing the fabric, what was your favorite piece?
100% the bags. Just specifically the first bag I made, I wish I had it with me, but um, those bags, I'm gonna be honest, they're a pain in the ass to make. But I feel like that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like life, you know. Like
Mm,
if you want to get somewhere, you have to struggle. Like those bags, I've broken so many needles, sewing needles, making them needles flying past my eyes. Like because the denim is so thick, it's
mm,
very very thick. So like me sewing the fabric together on top of like the lining inside the bag as well as the interfacing. The interfacing is like it keeps the structure of the bag that
mm,
makes it firm and not loose and flappy. Um, Sewing all of that together, it's really a pain, but I've grown to love it because one, like, it gets easy. Like I could do a bag in an hour. Like got to the point where as long as I have the pieces, as long as I have the jeans, I can knock out the bag in an hour, maybe even less.
mm.
Then it's like I can make it however I want to make it. Like I said, like I have bags where I could get pockets from a jean and put it on the front, put it on the back, put it on the inside, put it on the outside. You know, like, and I feel like that's the beauty of it. Like that's why it's my favorite because I can do so many things with it,
Mm.
and plus you don't really see nobody out here making them. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you
something
don't.
like it started as an assignment in the class. You know, and I'm, I don't want to toot my own horn, but mine was the best. Like mine was definitely the best.
Yeah, you did your thing with
And
them bags, man.
my professor said like, hey, like you're good at this. Like I think you should make more. I'm like, you know what? I'll make one more to see how it turns out. Sold it instantly, over like $200-300 for one bag. Like, and they don't people buy it because like it's me. Like I said, like kindness goes a long way. Like if you're kind and you're selling some things, you'll be like, well, I'm supporting a nice person. I'm supporting
Yeah,
someone who is kind. He has manners. He or she has manners. He's respectful. So let me invest my money in this person because it can go a long
yeah,
way. Not even just that. Like like people love the quality. They thought it was different. Like one of my buyers was a 11-year-old kid. That's the
that's
house.
crazy.
That's the house she had the money. I don't know, but if it was real, it's real. I'll take it. So yeah, I think those that was definitely my favorite piece.
It's crazy that you mentioned, the kindness thing and people just investing into, the things that you're selling because of your character.
Yeah,
That's something that we spoke about on the last episode. And we just talked about how you carried yourself into, just be a good person to people. Because at the end of the day, when you have a business, a brand, that is you. Like, you are a representation of that. So your character and how people, the impression that you leave on people,
yeah,
that'll represent your brand. So if you're not a good person, you're not a good, reliable person. Um, you don't have those, good character, characteristics, kindness, and things like that. People are going to feel like, all right, if that's you, then I know your brand isn't any other way. Like I know
yeah,
it has to, display those same characteristics that you display.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, now, what is your heart like? What is the most difficult and most annoying fabric to sew?
Denim for sure. Denim. Only because, well, no, actually, no. Let me not say denim. Um, I'm having a brain fart moment right now. I can't think of the fabric,
Mm,
but for right now, I would say denim. Be difficult because you need like a lot of heavy duty needles, like to make everything.
mm,
Like if I was to cut these jeans and sew this on top of each other, like this is very thick. Like this will like really like this will break a standard sewing machine. So like we have the industrial machines, like we're blessed to have them at our school, so like they can withstand like a bunch of stuff. Denim is very hard to sew. Silk is also very hard to sew because like it's so like sleek
mm-hmm,
and it doesn't really have a lot. Like it flows a lot, so trying to keep it steady is very hard. Um, I would say wool is also very hard to sew, like a wool blend, because when you sew it, it kind of like cuts the wool up and it causes it to fray, which kind of like deteriorates the shape of the fabric.
mm,
As well as the easiest, I would probably have to go with cotton. It's very versatile. Um, it's fun to work with. It's easy. We wear it every day, so like
yeah,
we like you could put someone who doesn't know how to sew in front of a sewing machine with cotton with the proper instructions. They can make a t-shirt. Like like once you get all the pieces down, it's kind of easy because like we wear it, so we already have a mental note of how it's supposed to feel,
Mm,
how it's supposed to feel like on the body, how it's supposed to shape out, you know. But
okay.
as far as the hardest, it's 100% denim.
Okay. Now, do you have a mentor?
Um, a permanent mentor, I would say no, but I've had mentors guide me along the way. One of them being Dame, of course. I've interned with him for over 2 months. You know, he was a great mentor towards me. I still talk to him to this day. Like,
Mm.
I know I could pull up to a shop and say hi to him. He probably would kick me out, but knowing him, but you know, he would probably like seeing my face. You know, he would ask me how I'm doing, like just check up on me. You know, that's kind of
Yeah.
like I joke about this because like I say me and him like actually look alike and we could be like father and son. But I do look at him. I like
Yo,
he
that's crazy,
he
yo.
denies it a lot, which is the crazy part. Like everybody who's been there trying prom dresses on, like they say that we look alike. He just doesn't want to agree with it. But I do look at him like as a father figure because like in the fashion game, he has taught me more like than he knows. Like
Mm,
he so definitely one of my like all of my professors as well. They've been great mentors to me, not just like physically but mentally as well. Like
mm,
people like in college, like they say like professors won't care about you. They don't give a damn about like your how you feel or whatever. If you want professors to care about you, I would invest yourself into going into a small school like I do. I go to Harkin College.
mm,
It's very small. Like our class sizes are like our summer class sizes are like at least 3 to 4 people.
mm.
My biggest class size is no more than 15 people. Like that's great compared to like Temple here. Like it's like over like what like a
Is
hundred.
it now? I'll speak on that. Now I'm gonna be honest. Temple is a big university, a bigger university compared to Hartman. Now to touch on your point onto having professors that care. I would say in bigger universities, professors will care for you only as much as you care for yourself. Like
Yeah,
professors will care for you if they see that you care,
yeah,
right? So like just something as simple as sitting at the front of the the lecture, sitting in the front, showing up on time, just something as simple as speaking, with entering the room. Little like small gestures like that shows a professor that you care, because a lot of professors, this is not what they do alone. Like they do a lot outside of being a professor at a university, and they put
yeah,
a lot of time and effort into their work.
yeah.
So if they see like, all right, you don't seem to care about the work that I'm putting in to be able to teach you guys, I'm only going to extend my hand just as much as you extend yours.
Right.
um Now I want to touch base on like something for the leaders, right? um for anybody that maybe wanting to get into fashion design, maybe want to start sewing clothes, what is some advice that you can give to them?
So the main thing is just to be yourself. You know, I feel like that's like really not all you need, but being yourself like is one of the main like top three things I would say. I think is number one actually because in fashion, like it's people I know who listen to other people's opinions. They like, hey, like they would ask people for advice, ask people for validation. Like fashion, it's what you make it. You know, like sure, like if I'm making something for somebody, I would want other people's opinions because it's theirs. But like if I'm making something for a show, if I'm making something to sell, and like I know all of the fundamentals, like, I know like how to sew and everything. I know how to place things. I know how to like put stuff together. I don't need no one's validation except mine because at the end of the day, you're not the one making this. I am. You know,
Mm,
like now, like if I have a partner, okay, yeah, like you can give me some pointers. Like I'm always down for pointers. I'm always down for like advice. You know, nothing wrong with that. However, I feel like if you're making something and you want to take the fashion game serious, be yourself. Don't let no one change who you are. People say the fashion industry will destroy you. People say it's a tough game. Everything in life is only as easy as you make it, but it will get harder. I will say that. But on the opposite note, like have fun with it. You know, don't over stress yourself out. You know, like look at it as like a blessing from life. Don't look at it as a job. You know, like
mm,
um, there are people I know who like stress themselves out over fashion. Like When in reality, like it's supposed to be fun. Like you want to have fun designing clothes. You want to have fun putting clothes on certain people, and like you get paid from it, like people
Mm.
make a lot of money from it. So look at it as a blessing and look at it like as something like that you really enjoy doing rather than like as an actual job. And you will like really enjoy yourself.
Okay. Uh, so you agree that you'd agree that it's important to do something that you feel like is fun and it doesn't feel like a job, right?
Yeah.
Um, now, you know, you've been in the fashion design industry for uh how long now?
Well, actual fashion design going on like 1 year.
Okay. Um, now with that, you're still piecing everything together, laying a foundation for you know your brand, your rebrand, I would
Yeah.
say. Um, what's the balance? How do you balance, like, all right, building a foundation for your brand and making sure that the personal, your personal side of things is good?
Um, I would say it goes back to what I said earlier about mental health. Like I don't overwork yourself. Like unless you need to. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
got a big event coming up, sure you can like go some nights without sleep or like little to no sleep, but definitely realizing that hey, like you have a life to live. You have a mental like you have a mental side of things to take care of. Like the answer I'm trying to get at is balance, like
Mm-hmm.
balancing your life out. Like balancing your mental health and your physical health. I think are all very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that goes with like taking breaks. Getting enough sleep, eating right, working out right, and the more you do those, the better you feel, the more energized you feel. Like when I first started, like fashion design, like I was lazy, like I was like tired, eat junk food all day, like hey, this is easy, I can do this. Until like it just hit me like, yo, like I gotta start doing better. So started waking up before I go to classes, work out, whether it's push ups, sit ups, even take a walk, like eating right, then after that, like I became more energized. I was able to execute my work more fluently.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if you could think back to yourself when you first started this journey,
Mhm.
and even as far back to when you first started your brand, and you can compare that to yourself now, what are the biggest differences, like, that you see, and talk about, like, something like, characteristic wise, like maybe something that you had to change, like, as a person, how did your mindset, or just like daily habits? What's the biggest changes between those two versions of yourself?
So from my brand and from actually designing, I would say the biggest change in my character would be I'm more humble, and as a person I've evolved, like I've started to like when you're in the fashion game, you sew stuff for people, and you make stuff for people, you're making them clothes, like you are kind of like understanding them as well because you're making stuff for them and they're wearing things like the way people wear things is like also like if as if they're telling the story in the outfit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm making a hoodie, selling it, that's just something for you to wear. Like if I'm sewing something for you to wear, like from the ground up, fabric, like raw fabric, cutting, sewing, styling, sizing, piecing, however you want it, like that's more like raw and that is more able to like tell a story rather than okay, like I'm just making something, just putting it on you.
Yeah.
But as far as like a difference, I would definitely say more humble. Um, I've started to be more knowledgeable about fashion, being in fashion design. Like I feel like when you're just like having a brand, you're not really touching base into true fashion because one, everything that you made is already out there, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
fashion repeats itself, especially when you're in a brand. Like I've seen so many Philly brands make the same thing. Sweatpants with a logo and a flame on the side,
Mm-hmm.
like lightning bolts, flames, skulls. Not that they don't look nice, but like it's not different, like you want to get yourself out there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
whatever sells, it sells. Like if it works, if you want to copy someone else's brand and do it, then hey, like as long as the money's getting in your pocket. But if you want to really take it to a next level, I would suggest fashion designing because like you can make everything from scratch. You can make something that's gonna sell, and like the rich people out there, like the ones that are really willing to spend the top dollar, they're the ones that are gonna like really buy stuff from your brand because it's different. You know, it has a name, it has good quality, and the piece speaks for itself. When you make clothes from a logo and stuff, it doesn't really speak for itself. You know, you want the clothes to have its own voice. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you talking about taking your brand to the next level and really getting into fashion design. It's crazy. I can think of off the top of my head, there are like two brands who I could say like are really unique with the things that they create.
Okay.
One of them is something called is a brand called Stolen Hearts.
Okay.
And the other brand, I can't really think of the name, but I remember the owner's name. I met him in at Atlanta Streetwear Market. He was a vendor. It's crazy. I actually interviewed him on the brand page. He gave out some game. He was a real cool person, but his name is Iwa.
Okay.
And he creates like a bunch of like just like how you make bags from denim and things like that.
Yeah.
He makes a bunch of denim products. And his brand is super dope. He's actually from Philly, so I want to definitely highlight those two brands because they're like instead of something like as you said, even though it looks good, it sells. Just getting something and printing on there, putting a logo on things like that. They really get down into the detail with the fabrics and things like that. Uh, Now before we wrap up, I want you to leave the leaders with something to keep going. Give them a quote to live by, book to read. Um, Once again, a characteristic, maybe something to listen, like a podcast to listen to. Give them something to keep them pushing.
Okay. So, um, a characteristic I'm gonna start with again. What's a good characteristic? One that would really motivate people, I would say, is belief. If you don't believe in yourself, no one's gonna believe in you, and it shows. Like having faith in yourself, having faith that you can do it, having confidence in yourself, like, hey, like I can do this, I can master this. That's manifesting the things that you want. If you manifest whatever, it's gonna come in your life. You just gotta be able to put in hard work. Um, a book to read. I only read one book, and that's the Bible. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really like. I don't really touch based on a lot of other books. I read here and there. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale.
That's a great book.
It's short. It's like I promise you. Like I know, I know our generation don't like reading. It's only 60 pages long. I promise you.
Another, not to cut you off, but another good book I would like to highlight is a book that one of my teachers in high school, Coach Al, he recommended.
Yeah,
It's a very short book, but it's powerful. As a Man Thinketh.
yeah,
That book is great. Yet it's short and it's still, it still hits home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that yeah. I think I heard about that book. Another book. This is someone from our school. His name is Dwayne Wiggins. He
Mm-hmm.
just he just launched a book called "Are You Okay?" It is a mental health check-in. Like it has conversation starters with him, the author, like talking to you. It's a very good book. I would recommend it. It's only $25 on Amazon. Just type in "Are You Okay?" book by Dwayne Wiggins. It should pop right up.
I'm gonna look
Um,
into that book, man.
yeah, it's a very good book. And a message for everybody. Be yourself. Um, you know, if you want to get far in life, just stick to it, and always tell yourself like, and even though it may look bad now, it's gonna be better towards the end.
Definitely. As time goes on, as long as you put the work in, You just, as you said, be kind to others. It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So definitely keep that in mind. Um, that's it for this episode. Once again, I appreciate you for coming out. Thank you for coming out to speak with me today, bro.
No problem.
Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Before we end, I really want to just say thank you to everybody who's been supporting the movement. Like, I know I made a post about it, but I want to say this to y'all, like, directly to y'all. Whether you like the video, shared it, talked about it, whatever, just anything to keep the movement and keep help the movement try to change the narrative. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And tell you guys that I love you all. Like, seriously, thank you. Uh yeah, I really just want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Like, y'all understand how much this means to me, especially with like the reason as to why this platform was created. So thank you guys. Seriously. That's it for this episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. As always, we'll see y'all in the next episode, man.